Yo, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Netflix exclusive version of kind of like our podcast, a little extension. I mean, listen, it has been awesome. We skipped last week because we're not going to be doing this every single week, but that means we just have more to talk about in this episode because in the first episode, we talked about the first 2 episodes of Sakamoto Days, Fragrant Flowers, and even the Summer Hikaru Died. Today, we're talking about episode 3 and episode 4 of Sakamoto Days and the Summer Hikaru Died, and my god, we're both absolutely fucking phenomenal. Can we just get right into Sakamoto Days? I mean, it is just my all-time favorite comfort anime. Just to sit back, relax, and enjoy absolute greatness. I can't lie. Season 1, I do agree with people. I saw some frames, like some panels of the manga. I'm like, shit, I wish we had that in the anime. Season 2, I can't see anything to, like, be upset about. I mean, we finally got Lou turning into, like, her Makima form. Her mafia drunk. So good. Absolutely incredible. Like, what an absolute beast. When kind of like, Shin gets put in a bad spot, and he's like, "Oh shit! I guess this like really taxes my body." Which, by the way, I thought that was really really cool that they brought up. Like, he actually can't see the future; he can read the subconscious. I'm like, holy fuck! I'm like, that
Oh
makes so
yeah.
much sense. It's like, how is he going from reading minds to being able to see the future? That's kind of weird. But then it made the point where it's like, hey, like, what if you can just try to like go deeper into read the subconscious? And that's what he was able to do, and that's how he can kind of see the future. Well, taxed his body. He ends up kind of passing out a little bit or kind of like tripping up, and that's where Lou comes in and it's just like grabs the head and it goes like slow mo, and then just goes boom, and I'm like, that's my girl. That's my fucking
Yes.
goat right there. I absolutely love her. What a beast this fucking episode. So goddamn good. What'd you think about it? Sakamoto was episode 2, episode 3. Summer Car died is 3 and 4. My bad. I forgot Sakamoto Days was a week late.
Dude, I loved it. I thought both episodes were really
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Like they kind of do a good job of setting these villains up to be like pretty intimidating, but
Mm-hmm.
then basically get folded up by our main cast, which feels good because like even though these guys are like death row
Mm-hmm.
hitters, like, they're not the order level. And they
Yeah.
kind of like bash everybody. Like I think Shin is a C and Sakamoto's like a D or an F because they think they're out of shape. And then
Yeah.
like they kind of lean into that a little bit and like disprove it, which I thought was kind of cool. But I like the point you brought up too about Shin reading the subconscious. It feels a little more legit than just like, oh, he can see the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, I don't know, it leaves his abilities, I think, to be a little more realistic. But it was really sick to see Lou kind of like lock in and get into that Makima mode. Because dude, she goes absolutely off on that guy, which was awesome to see that duo like put the beat down on him.
Okay, so I think Sakamoto's a B, Lou's a C, and
As
Shin's a
he B.
D. Yeah, yeah, Sakamoto was still
Shin's
ahead
the
of
D.
them.
Okay.
Yeah. So the cool thing is that like in the manga, Lou, like her eyes, they're not colored in, so they look like the Makima eyes, like way more. Because you just kind of see
Oh
like the,
yeah.
the circle. It's not like filled in or colored in. So like she looks just like Makima. Absolute badass. I mean that character is going to dominate. I hope she ends up being mafia drunk more. You know what I mean? Like I think the other ones are kind of funny when she's like real sad or angry or whatever. But like just so badass and fucking shit up, and just like so good. Like what a duo, her and Shin. You can't like fuck with them. Like that duo is going to dominate. I'm glad they both got their kind of like power up. You know what I mean? I think that was so
Yeah.
sick. Not only do they look cool, but Shin looks cooler as well. His glowing eyes. You know what I mean? And I think he's got more confidence to him. He's not just Sakamoto's fanboy. It's like, yo, like Shin is a high level assassin. You know what I mean? And I feel like he feels more like it with this a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, and like I don't know, after a while, it's like you can only read so many minds, and then you meet people who are stronger than you, or like
Mm-hmm.
are able to kind of conceal this bloodlust, like we saw in episode 2. He kind of like adapts to that and
Mm-hmm.
steps up a little bit. I also think their synergy is perfect. Shin's not the strongest or the toughest fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty smart, has some pretty elite hacks. Lou is kind of the opposite. Like she has good battle IQ, but like like her different like drunken modes are like kind of playful, and
Yeah.
she's more strong than she is like tactical, which I think plays really well to Shin. So I love watching them fight. Hopefully they kind of like stay together as that duo because I think like tactically their synergy is really high.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is really cool is like the Sakamoto gang, like they don't kill, right? That's against the family rules and they're a family, right? And that's something that like was constantly brought up, especially with Lou. She keeps bringing up the family rules and how important they are. And one thing I do like
Hmm.
is that they didn't make the whole anime like that we know of so far, right? Because we're under the impression that like 2 or 3 people were killed already. And I like that. I like how they're like, okay, Sakamoto and his crew are gonna like, follow these rules and like not kill. But like I wouldn't want the other assassins or fucking villains to not do that. And so far from what we've seen, like the Order's chopping people up, and like fair enough. Bitch called Osaragi ugly? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, oh Osaragi, fucking take out
So
the
good,
trash.
dude.
Take out that goddamn trash. And she fucking sliced her in half. And I'm like, yeah, there we go. I'm all for it. But I don't know if she's dead. You know what I mean? Like she should be. but like they could just turn out that she's alive because the patchwork dude, the dude who's got all like the fucking stitches. I would say patchwork because that's what they called the one dude from JJK, though that one villain. So like
Yeah,
that's my go-to
yeah,
now. Oh, Dobby was the same way. They called him that as well. So I just think that that was like he's still alive because they like kind of like cut him up into a bunch of pieces. So I'm like, I don't know if the other two people are still alive. The one that Osaragi chopped up, and the same thing with Nagamo. Nagamo fucked up that one dude. I don't know if he's dead either, even though he was fucking decapitated. So if that is the case,
yeah.
yeah, that was
I don't
insane.
know about that.
We got to get into that, but like that was insane. But like that is something I'm looking forward to seeing because like I like how Sakamoto's crew doesn't kill, but I do still want to see that in the anime. I don't want everyone to follow that rule. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps like the edge a little bit. You still feel like that more intense like battle when you know somebody could die, and like they're assassins after all. Their job is to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect the Order and some of these like other people like Slur, like his group. I would imagine they're going to
Mm-hmm.
be out killing people and trying to finish the job. But dude, Nagamo's fight was absolutely insane. Kind of getting to see his abilities and like
Mm-hmm.
how strong he is. The moment where he like picks the guy up by the throat. And he's like, dude, this guy is so little and skinny. Like, how can he possibly be this strong? And then just throws him across the store. He's like, man, how I'm really fucking the store up. Sakamoto's gonna be pissed. Just like sitting on top of like everything's all messed up. I thought that whole fight was really good. And posing as Sakamoto's wife in the beginning, and then hitting him with the toy knife, I was like, yo, that is sick.
Well, because I was like, dude, they attacked Sakamoto's wife, like no shot. And then it was Nagamo, and I was like, okay, that makes a bit more sense. But dude, the reflection
Mm.
trick. Where he's like, oh, I wonder where Nagamo went. And he's like checking the ice cream cooler. It's like, brother, and he checks the other side, and like it's see through. Like, why?
I was dying, dude.
Like, it doesn't. And he's like, he opens up like where the drinks are. He's like pulling out drinks. Like, is he back here? And then Nagamo was the reflection. I'm like, dude, that was sick. And he just turns and then busts through and grabs him. Like, yo, Nagamo's fight was fucking badass. I love Nagamo. Like, I really, really do. I think he's such a cool fucking character. And I'm so, so, so glad that one of the fights was his. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they do a great job of setting up to be like,
Mm-hmm.
order level strong. I love Nagamo's personality. He's kind of like sadistic. Like he was messing with that dude the
Mm-hmm.
entire time. And it was like a pretty easy fight. So I could definitely see why they like scale him as an S rank.
Mm-hmm.
Nagamo's awesome. I really hope we get to see him fight alongside like Sakamoto because they used to be boys back in the day. Like friendly rivals, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be cool to kind of see them like fight together. I don't know to the extent of which like they will work together because they're not really their goals don't really like totally align yet. And I'm pretty sure Nagamo doesn't really agree with the whole like leaving the lifestyle and not killing people because he just lopped that guy's head off. And the
Yeah.
scene with the dice where he like pops the dice out and he's like, ooh, number 3.
Bro.
So sick.
Dude, that like Nagamo, like it's just such a badass, and like literally, kind of what you're saying, just playing with his food, like 100%. Like it
Yeah.
was absolutely insane. His weapon though is perfectly tailored to him. Someone who can like take the disguise or the identity of like anybody and kind of like shape shift than anybody is absolutely insane. So it makes sense that he have a weapon that like is like 6 different weapons in a one. He's like a Switch Army knife. It's absolutely insane, and it makes sense because it reflects him. But yeah, you're right. That dice scene was so cool. Where he's like, picking up between 1 and 6. He's like, I'm not fucking playing your games. He's like, all right, let's set the dice to do the work. And he's like, fuck you. And then he's like, it's like in his mouth, and he's like, what the fuck? Takes down 3. It's like, oh, it's this one, and then decapitates him. I'm like, okay, like low key, he might actually be stronger than Sakamoto. It seems like.
Yeah, and then they kind of breach that with like the old
Mm-hmm.
old lady doctor, like, oh, you're really only 30% as strong as you used to be, and like she's teaching him to adapt to his body,
I
which
hate that.
I just know I know from the manga like he does end up being skinny a lot more. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if it's full time, but like we will get skinny Sakamoto back. But I thought that was a cool little like I don't know what you want to call it. Like, yeah, you better make sure you get comfortable with this size because like you're not the dude that you used to be, and you're taking on literal death row inmates. So I thought that was kind of a cool like touch.
Yeah, dude, I got nervous when I first saw that because I was like, don't make him like that all the time. I like both. You know what I mean? I like the jolly
Yeah,
convenience store owner. You know what I mean? And he's real funny. But like when shit got serious and became old Sakamoto again, I was like, dude, that's badass. Like that's really fucking cool. And to be honest, I'd prefer that Sakamoto if I had to pick one or the other. You know what I mean? But it was cool getting both. So I got a little worried when they did that. If it was gonna be like a permanent thing, but like from now on in the series, it's just fatter Sakamoto. So if you're saying that he does become skinny again, that's me kind of dope. I am interested to see how they kind of like deal with that. But yeah, definitely a reality check for Sakamoto where she was just like, yeah, like they're not all that, bud. Even against fodder, which is why you might think you're still pretty good. But like you being B ranked, it's not far off these days. Like you did take 5 years
yeah,
off.
that was really good. And dude, I love Osaragi and Shishiba. They're like relation. No, I don't want to say relationship, friendship. I mean, kind of get those vibes, but they're hysterical. They're awesome together. Osaragi fucking up all his food until the very end, And then that guy, he's like, oh, it's the target. Loses his delicious ramen and he tweaks out. I was like, that's so valid. I just wanted to see him enjoy that.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Osaragi. I'm a massive,
Based. Love to see it.
massive fan of Osaragi. The more she's in the anime, the better. Let's just say that.
Could not agree more. My man. Good stuff.
Bro, her fight though was sick. Like she really is a badass. And again, someone else, the Order are kind of like you said, like kind of sadistic, kind of like psychopaths. She's another one playing with her food. She's like, let me teach you how to pray. And just bashes her face fucking like 3 times. Like, well, you bow 3 times. And then she grabs her hands and she like claps.
Clap twice. It's like disrespect.
And then it's like, and then you bow again. And then just smack. And like, Jesus Christ, bro. And then like puts her through like the temple. And I'm like, holy shit. And like her case too, being like 1,000,000 pounds and there's like a circular saw on it. I was like, oh, bro, that was also so funny. But she was like, I'm a shitty person. You know what I mean? And like, God, if I was God, I wouldn't make people like us. But since I'm here, I might as well help God out. And I was like,
ew, like,
oh, and then the light, you know what I mean? He's like, I'm here with a purpose. Like, bro, just the whole thing was just like weird and badass and like kind of cool, you know, and like psychotic. The way that she's like, yeah, like I'm God's soldier, you know, I'm a piece of shit, I shouldn't be here, so I'm gonna help clean up the trash. I'm gonna have purpose on this earth. And like, I'm like, Usaragi, like, I don't know like what goes on in her head, but like, favorite character.
she's fire. I absolutely love it, dude. Her like dynamic with Shishiba's really cool because he's a little more grounded.
Yeah.
She like comes off as kind of an airhead, even though she's definitely not. But yeah, Osaragi, phenomenal character. Big fan. And the circular saw is an underrated weapon. I feel like that's really badass and like big and bulky for like a little dainty girl. I mean, she's tall, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think it fits oddly well.
Dude, like it's also like apparently like 2,000 pounds. Like the one dude who tried to pick it up too, like what the fuck's this? And he couldn't pick it up. Absolutely insane. I think that she's probably absolutely jacked. You know what I mean? She's probably another one who's like absolutely like just like huge muscles. But what an awesome character! What an awesome start to like the season. I think it's gonna be really really cool. And I think the fights are gonna be amazing. I want to see if Sakamoto fights Nagamo. I think that might end up happening because they keep kind of pitting them against each other, like who's stronger. You know what I mean? And we gotta remember the Order's not on Sakamoto's side. They're just busy with Slur at the moment. So there's gonna come a time where I think that they're gonna face off, and I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait to see how that plays out. Cause like I've read some of the later stuff, but I've tried to like avoid spoiling what I knew would be like season 2 or part 2. So like, yeah, I don't know if they'll fight or I would like to see them fight, but like they're not gonna go all out and try and kill each other. But then it'll be like, all right, you know, maybe Sakamoto doesn't get the better of him, and he's like, all right, I gotta get in shape, I gotta get back that killer instinct. To some degree, but yeah, I definitely think we'll get some of like Sakamoto versus the Order this season.
Well, you know what would devastate me is that if they do face off against the Order, I feel like it's gonna be Osaragi versus Lou, and I don't know if I'm ready for that fight. I don't know if I can handle it, even though there's probably not gonna be a winner. That's gonna be tough to watch.
Like ease us into it. Let me enjoy this season before you start pitting our favorite characters against each other.
To be fair,
but who knows? I really don't know.
Yeah, and I think too that we got to remember with a lot of these like series, like the manga isn't like very far along. You know what I mean? Like it's probably someone who's read the manga is probably like, yeah, no, they don't face off, but that could be like in another 100 chapters that they do. You know what I mean? Or that's when that becomes an arc. It's something that like probably like isn't in existence yet, but it's probably like set up to one day get to that point. So I'm really really excited about it. I gotta say too, Sakamoto's fight was also fucking hilarious. This guy just wants the person he's against wants to just relate to somebody, you know what I mean? And we saw that he was pretty strong. He ended up taking off the deer head dude, again, the guy who's got like all like the stitching and shit, and completely was underestimated. And he's like, fuck, I completely underestimated this guy. He got the better of me. Like, we gotta be careful. And then he ends up fighting Sakamoto, and it's so funny because he finally finds someone to relate to. He's like, oh my god, I think I understand you. He's like, would you like to hear my story? And Sakamoto's like, shut the fuck up. I really could not care.
Absolutely not.
Like, the one person this guy wants to tell a story to, Sakamoto's like, I couldn't give a fuck about your story. Like, go away. Go find another friend, bro. It ain't me.
Yeah, and the scene where he, like, wraps the string around him and then obviously, like, tries to, like, do the same thing as the deer head guy.
Yeah.
And he just, like, blows his body up and then gets, like, skinny and jumps out of it. Like, that was kind of fire. Like, he's using his body, you know what I mean? Some of the adapting there, but yeah, really cool. That fight was a lot of fun, and like, can't imagine he wins. You know what I mean? Sakamoto's gonna beat this dude down at the beginning of the next episode, but it was really cool too. Like, you know, they're on the like Tokyo Tower looking thing, and like these people are coming up the elevator and just see somebody like driving him through steel beams. And, like, they're all like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "That would be extremely alarming."
Yeah, that would be like, hey, put this thing down now. Like this whole building's about to come down. I do not want to be at the
Yeah.
top. Like let's reverse this elevator. Start going down before it's too late. You know what I mean? I want to take the slow way down, not the fast way.
100%. Yeah, that would definitely scare me. It's just funny how like everybody kind of like ignores the fact that they're surrounded by assassins everywhere.
Dude, for real. I guess that cleanup crew is really putting in the work. I think that was pretty funny too. That they ended up showing up and shit. And
Oh
it's just
yeah.
like, oh yeah, it's just the cleanup crew. Like they don't really like us that much.
Yeah, we give them a ton of work to do, which is valid, but you never see the behind the scenes. So I thought that was pretty funny too.
That was sick. But Summer Car died. What an absolute fucking insane 2 episodes. I mean, we're seeing a lot of like I guess a character development. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of like emotions being worked out because our MC really does not know what to do with Hikaru. He's like really is struggling with the fact that his buddy's dead and that this alien's kind of possessed him, but then also kind of likes the alien. You know what I mean? So like I feel like we got into a lot of that the past 2 episodes, and I'm loving the series. And someone commented and they were like, "So right, this anime really hits on the creepy side of horror." And that's one thing you gotta remember, that
Yeah.
they keep focusing on that. So as much as I like to see the story develop a little bit more, I do like that it's taking its time and then just really letting that marinate where it's like, ooh, this is sometimes just awkward to watch, and it's just like it's actually like pretty fucking good when you look at it from that aspect. Like we saw a lot of that the past 2 eps.
Yeah, dude, and I like how they focus a lot on like the emotional side
Mm-hmm.
of it. Like you have kind of the build up with the detective and stuff. Like I feel some stuff is like really building for like
Yep.
the overarching plot. Basically, these last 2 episodes is a real like insight into how Yoshiki feels. Like
Yeah.
we learn that he saw Hikaru dead. He goes out and finds him and like confirms that he's dead. But he's like overcome with grief. His best friend just died. By the time he wakes up, like Hikaru's back. But he's pretty much makes the point that he knew from the moment because he saw the dead body that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And like can never really replace him. He's still like stricken by grief, but at the same time, you're right. Like the scene where, this alien or Nonuki-sama is like, oh, I really got to stop doing all that gross stuff and like, all that weird shit coming at him. And he's like, oh, he's trying to like fit in and better himself. Like in a way, he does kind of empathize with him and like he appreciates that like childlike aspect because he says like, I'm not good at anything. Like I have no idea what's going on around me. It seems kind of like he's been sealed up for 300 years due to these rituals. So he's had like the entire development of society change and like he's never come down off that mountain.
Well, that's a cool thing about it too that they brought up, is that it seems like he was keeping this stuff at bay. Because she brought that up. She's like, okay, he was on the mountain, right? This mass from hell that she described it, and ever since it descended the mountain, it seems like what that like I don't know, that mist, that aura that she keeps talking about that was on the mountain has now made its way, and it's like very rapid and it's growing and it's getting out of control, and that's why a bunch of weird shit's happening. And it seems like it was kind of like the thing, kind of like in JJK, right, where you take like one of the artifacts, I think they called it, and you put it into an area because it scares everything else away. You know what I mean? You have like a
Yeah,
high ranked thing and it keeps all the lower ranks away. It seems like he was trapped on that mountain to keep like everything else in control. And now that he descended the mountain, everything's out of hand. So you kind of feel bad for him if that is true, because like
yeah.
he was kind of forced, onto that mountain to kind of like for the betterment of humanity. But like he's not human. He doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? He's just trapped for, in his case, no reason, or what he thinks is no reason.
Yeah, so it's like kind of doesn't really paint him as a villain. I
Yeah.
mean, we haven't really got too deep into it yet with like the whole mixing and there's definitely going to be some fallout with Yoshiki and Hikaru like spending so much time together.
Mm-hmm.
That housewife basically did the same thing and she was like it was a huge mistake and like I'll never be the same and I don't want to see that for you.
Yeah.
But I feel like Yoshiki hasn't even come close to like coming to terms with his feelings because he's still really dependent on that friendship even though he does feel like remorse and guilt and knows he shouldn't be doing it. So like how long does it take for that to kind of like explode or like come to a head? Like Yoshiki has a breakdown or like Hikaru,
A
is
couple
offended in some
breakdowns.
way. Yeah, I was gonna say my man's breaking down every episode
I don't
for
blame him
good
though.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you feel for him, but in the same way, like he still is committed to this like Hikaru slash Nonuki. Like he knows he shouldn't be hanging out with him, but he still has like affection for him and romance. That was kind of like brought
Yeah.
up in episode 1, but they haven't really touched too much on it. And again, we're not really that deep into season 1 yet, so it's
Mhm.
tough to say.
But like, yeah, you kind of see it in these past couple episodes because like there's that weird classroom scene then where like he kind of like attacks him. His handprint was like marked on his arm. He was grabbing his arm so tight, and he kind of like lost control there for a second. But then you see like he feels like so bad. Like he truly loves Yushiki, and like he would never really want to actually hurt him. You know what I mean? And he kind of like stays home from school, and he's kind of like, dude, like you're scared of me, like, and he feels like awful. It's really kind of interesting from that aspect. I was gonna say that like you know you feel bad for him because like it's not like he ever killed anybody. Like Hikaru was dead when he like possessed them, but I'm pretty sure he killed the grandma. Like that wasn't fully confirmed, but like most likely he was the reason why that grandma died in I think episode 2. So like he's not like the best, but like when it comes to like the monster people make him out to be, he hasn't done too much to warrant that. You know what I mean? He's just something else. He's not human, but that doesn't make him bad, right? You know what I mean?
And I think the whole reason he would have killed the old lady, like it's implied that he does, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's other stuff that's been happening, so we can't say that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason he would have killed her is because he didn't want him blowing up the spot, and like she obviously knew what
She was a part
it
of
wasn't
rituals.
Hikaru. Yeah, and like she was one of those village elders that knows about Nanuki-sama and like knows about the rituals,
Mm-hmm.
like this whole detective gang, that cast there. And they haven't really like come in contact with our MC yet, but you kind of feel that building, and like I think that was to avoid any of that, just try and keep the status quo and keep hanging out with Yoshiki without, you know, those like feelings coming up.
Yeah, and that's one thing too that we do keep like seeing. Like Hikaru's trying to figure out like what the fuck he is. Even he doesn't know. Like when like Yoshiki brought that up, he's like, "What are you?" He's like, "I don't fucking know." Like I kind of just
It's me.
I spawned in one day and I kind of just floated around. Then I saw your friend who was dead, and I was like, "All right, let's give this a try." You know what I mean? Like let's see what happens. And he kind of like came down. And he's like trying to like figure shit out. So like there's like, an aspect where like you kind of like it's interesting. You know what I mean? To see like what he's like going to kind of turn into. Is he going to be like bad, like genuinely bad, or is he like just like kind of just not human? And you know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting to see. I want to know more about the rituals. That's what I really want to get into. Like, why? What were the rituals? Why was it happening? Because if there is a hit list and there is like targets and like people that are gonna die, it's gonna be the people that have been doing the rituals and have been a part of it. Why did it fail? And like you know what happened for it to fail? Like what is so bad about that? So like there's still so much mystery, and that's the thing where like I like to see the story develop a little bit more, but yeah, there's so much that I'm like interested about and I'm curious about.
Dude, I'm really excited. Like, I want to see how it plays out because you're right. He's not like inherently evil. He still
Hmm.
doesn't really know what he is. But hopefully, next episode or like the next two, we can kind of get into like the history of the village, some of the
Hmm.
rituals, and kind of like what this family has been like trying to keep at bay. And if
Hmm.
we get any information on that, I think it'll kind of like position us a little better into who is possessing Hikaru and kind of like what all this stuff is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for it. I think that it's definitely been a really good series. I heard that some people are actually dropping it because it is kind of like on the creepier, weirder side. But I think that's just what makes it unique and makes it pretty good. So again, I'm not against it. I just can't wait to see the story develop a bit more. I feel like when it starts developing more, and we start getting more information and start getting more into the rituals and what's happening on the mountain, it's just gonna get so fucking good. You know what I mean?
Definitely, dude. I think there's plenty of hype. Like, I love that creepy aspect to it. It's definitely a different type of horror than, say, like Takapi's Original Sin, which does have some really heavy elements to it. I think you deal more with like Yoshiki's grief and like his inability to like come to terms with this because the physical version of Hikaru is still around.
Hmm.
So like, once we get into the kind of like more of the backstory, the lore of this village, I think we'll really have a better idea of, well, hopefully, what the fuck is going on.
Well, it's funny because everyone who knows what the fuck's going on wants nothing to do with that place. That's something that Housewife was even saying. She's like, I fucking hate this place. It terrifies me. I want to leave so bad, but I have like a kid or like a nephew or someone she said here and stuff like that, and I'm like, damn, bro, like everyone just wants out, and I don't blame them. In all honesty, I'd want out too. It's fucking weird. A lot of shit's happening. We're seeing a lot more of the creepiness and a lot more of the anomalies because that's something that was brought up. It's like, oh, you know, these two boys the same age, they were friends their whole life, one of them's dead and is now an alien, and a bunch of weird shit's happening. We didn't really see weird shit happening until now we're starting to see all the anomalies and all like the distortions around the town. So I cannot wait to get more into that. It seems like that's going to heavily impact a lot of the side characters, including those two girls that they're friends with at school. They started to see some stuff by the railroad, so it's going to be really interesting to see how things play out with that.
Yeah, that was super ominous. And
Yeah.
the foreshadowing of like, oh, well, you know, you should go a different way. And she's like, yeah, your intuition's always right. I'll
Hmm.
take a detour. That is definitely setting up something bad for one of these classmates. So hyped to kind of see how it plays out. And hopefully we get a little more story information about like what the heck is going on up on that mountain and, you know, what's behind all these rituals.
Yeah. So I mean, so far Netflix exclusives have been absolutely banging. They've been really good. Summer Car Died, I think, has been definitely a shock with how good it has been. It really has a high attention to detail It seems like in the first couple episodes, and it just seems like really really good. Like I wasn't expecting it to like be this gripping. I think it has exceeded my expectations at least. What have you thought of it about it so far?
It's definitely exceeded my expectations. I was really, really impressed with Cygame's ability to create like a horror-esque environment,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of like you said, keep it on the creepier side, not just like go for shock value or like killing and stuff. Like, in a way, this is like kind of a fucked up romance slash like grieving situation. I think they capture that extremely well, and like Yoshiki is the perfect main character to kind of like make you empathize with that situation because if somebody you love died but was still kind of hanging around, like you wouldn't just be like, yeah, get the fuck away from me. But in the
Yeah.
same way, you'd be like, "Yeah, this is insane."
That is kind of funny when the housemate brought that up. She's like, "Oh, like you guys were mixing, so I'm assuming it was a girl." It's like, "No, they're boys."
Yeah, I know, like, you know how people get about boys love, stuff, but like, it's good. You know what I mean? It's definitely exceeded my expectations. It got me hooked. Like, I'm definitely watching every week for sure.
I think that was like a huge thing that you said though, because it seems like he might end up having like regrets about going to her about what's been going on, and if she assumes that it is a girl he's mixing with, quote unquote, then she's gonna think that the alien's a girl, and she's not gonna suspect Hikaru. So like he can
Yeah,
kind of like backtrack and be like, oh yeah, I don't want to give you more information, and Hikaru will still be okay because they're looking for a girl, not a guy.
yeah, and like, I don't know, is there something up with his family? Like, is Hikaru's family special? They were kind
Oh
of alluding to that
yeah.
without, I think, saying it. And we don't know for sure, but that's kind of how I took that.
Well, yeah, it seems like his family was the only ones who knew about the rituals and how to do them, which is going to be kind of insane. It seems like they're like low key fucked because I'm pretty sure Hikaru's dad might be gone. I think that they kept kind of saying that he also went on the mountain and he hasn't been found. But I also want to know about Yoshiki's family because his sister apparently just never goes to school or anything, but she leaves the house and people keep talking shit and she seems like really quiet and reserved. So I want to know more about like what happened with that. Like why isn't she going to school? Like why is everyone so like fixated or like having to like gossip about this family? Like what's so special here? You know what I mean? I think when they start getting into that, that'd be really cool too. And I feel like has since we don't know anything about it yet, it's going to play into all the mystery and creepiness going on.
Dude, I can't wait to see. I think it
Mm.
might take to the end of the season, but like we're definitely in for some pretty amazing moments.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane. So we hope you guys are enjoying these amazing Netflix exclusives. There also is the favorite Flowers Blooms Dignity, but it depends on where you are if you're able to watch it or not. But I mean, hey, listen, I've been able to watch it. First four eps, really, really good. Like really good. It's been fucking awesome. But Netflix is doing really well with Sakamoto Days and The Summer Car Died. Both of them are really, really good. So if you have Netflix and you kind of want to try them out, I highly recommend it. They are awesome. I think you definitely enjoy it. But that is it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Hopefully we get more banging episodes that are just so fucking good this week. I know we will. I mean, they have yet to miss. But anyways, guys.
No doubt.
Yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great week. And,